Hi friends, today I have something really exclusive for you, a series of posts from the closed Darknet forum Cypher Vault, which you won't find anywhere else. The material is so rare that even I had to use all my connections to get access to it. Imagine this, an ordinary guy, a cybersecurity professional who has spent his whole life protecting the digital assets of the rich, loses everything in an instant because of his honesty. A ruined career, a lost reputation, and the tragic death of his best friend who fell victim to a cryptocurrency pyramid scheme. What happens when a person who knows all the secrets of digital security decides to switch sides? An elite team of hackers, a multi-million-dollar target, a flawless plan. But what happens when things don't go according to plan? And most importantly, how does the digital treasure hunt end? Or maybe this story isn't over yet. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This story is too good to miss a single part of. Now make yourself comfortable. We're diving into the world of digital ghosts and lost bitcoins. Hi, they call me Ghost, and I want to keep it that way for my own safety. By the time you're reading this, I've already disappeared off the radar. This post is the only evidence of my existence, and I'm only sharing it because some stories need to be told. Prior to 2018, I was one of what you would call the good guys. At 38, I was a senior cybersecurity analyst at Gibraltar Shield, a San Francisco office that specialized in protecting financial systems. My office was in a glass tower overlooking the bay, and my salary allowed me to rent a flat in the Richmond district. An ordinary life, it seemed. Every morning I woke up at 6:30, ran 5 miles along the seafront, and by 9 o'clock I was already sitting at my desk reviewing security logs. I was protecting the digital safes of people you don't even know exist. My clients were storing billions of dollars in cryptocurrency. When the early Bitcoin miners went from geeks to millionaires, I was the one they came to for protection. I didn't get a classical education. I left Chicago at 17 with just a backpack and an old laptop. My parents wanted me to follow in my father's footsteps, to become a petroleum engineer, but I was more interested in digital code than in black gold. So I ended up in Silicon Valley in 1999, just in time for the dot-com boom. Self-taught with Russian roots, I worked my way up through talent and persistence. After 20 years of work, I had learned everything about digital security, from encryption to social engineering. I knew how people protected their money and how those protections could be bypassed. On the 15th of October 2018, everything changed. On that day, I discovered strange activity in the systems of our client, Helios Capital, a cryptocurrency fund. Their algorithms were withdrawing investor funds to offshore wallets in small portions, not large enough to raise suspicion, but totaling around $40 million. I collected the evidence and presented it to Gibraltar Shield's board of directors. Their response stunned me. Alex, Helios is our biggest customer. Your job is to protect their systems, not to monitor their business model. A week later, I received a notice of breach of corporate ethics. 2 weeks later, I was fired for unauthorized access to client data. Someone had faked logs that showed I had copied confidential information for personal gain. That night, I sat on Pier 39 looking out over Alcatraz. My career was ruined, my reputation destroyed. I realized the brutal truth: the system doesn't protect honest people, it protects those with money. But the real blow came on the 22nd of November 2018. My best friend Jack Thornton, a programmer from Boston whom we met back in the 2000s, committed suicide. He lost all his savings, $780,000, by investing in the cryptocurrency pyramid scheme BitConnect, which collapsed in early 2018. In a suicide note he wrote, "They stole not only my money, but also my dream. I don't see a way out anymore." Standing at his grave in Forest Hills Cemetery in Boston, in the cold December rain, I made a decision that changed my life. I will no longer defend the system. I would make it pay. That night, I bought a new laptop with cash, created an encrypted email, and entered the Darknet for the first time, not as a defender, but as a predator. I was 38 years old, with 20 years of cybersecurity experience under my belt, and a new mission ahead of me. I had a plan. I knew that thousands of bitcoins lay in dead wallets, lost, forgotten, abandoned. Early miners' bitcoins, bought for cents, were now worth millions, and I knew how to find them. But to do that, I needed a team, an elite group of specialists, each one the best at what they do. Finding good hackers is not a problem. Finding hackers you can trust with your life is almost impossible. But I knew where to look. In January 2019, I rented a flat in Daly City, a suburb of San Francisco, anonymously for cash. It was there that I set up my digital fortress: 6 monitors, a dedicated line, $30,000 worth of equipment. I called it Nora. The first thing I went to was a Darknet forum called The Basement, a place I knew about from my past work. It was a deeply hidden, invitation-only platform where cybersecurity experts and hackers exchanged information. I used my old alias, Black Swan. No one knew it was a former corporate defender. On the 3rd of February 2019, I posted an encrypted message looking for treasure hunters. The loot is 8,000 gold coins. Need voice, code, shadow. Payment is 10% each, only the best. 24 hours later, I received the first reply from user Mephistopheles. He wrote in flawless English, "I can be anyone on the phone, from the CEO to your mother. Berlin, the 15th of February, Café Einstein on Unter den Linden. Table by the window, 14 o'clock. If you're real, I'll know." I flew to Berlin on the 14th of February. Sitting in a historic cafe, I watched the customers. At exactly 14 o'clock, a man of about 35 in a perfectly fitting suit sat down at my table. He said my real name with a slight German accent. "My name is Mephisto." I realized it was from his nickname Mephistopheles on the forum. "I've looked at your CV on LinkedIn. Impressive career in the Gibraltar Shield. It's a shame it ended so unfortunate. I haven't posted my real name anywhere, and certainly not on the forum." Mephisto smiled, noticing my surprise. "It was a test. If you had panicked, I would have left. But you kept your cool. You passed." Mephisto turned out to be a former member of the German Federal Intelligence Service. His speciality was social engineering. He could convince anyone of anything over the phone or in person. He quit after the government used his skills against political opponents rather than terrorists. "I'm sick of being a pawn," he said. "Your Bitcoin hunt sounds more interesting." The second member of the team I found through Mephisto. On the 5th of March 2019, we met at Moscow's White Rabbit restaurant with a man known in tight circles as Kronos, a mathematical genius and graduate of Moscow State University. He could crack almost any encryption system. "I hear you're looking for lost bitcoins," Kronos said in flawless English, sipping his vodka. "Funny, I wrote algorithms to recover private keys back in 2016, but I was never authorized to use them officially." Kronos worked for a Russian technology company, developing security systems for banks, but he was secretly creating algorithms to crack cryptocurrency wallets. I saw the same frustration in his eyes that I saw in mine. "The system takes everything from people," he said. "I want to take something from the system." The third member of the team was the one we were looking for the longest. We needed a Darknet expert, someone who knows all the hidden corners of the digital underground. We found him in Barcelona in April 2019. Spider worked as an administrator for a large Spanish crypto exchange. At night, he led a shadowy life as El Fantasma, the ghost of the Darknet, a middleman for transactions that are not spoken aloud. We met in a small bar in the Gothic Quarter. "Are you looking for lost coins?" he asked, examining a glass of sangria. "I know every corner of the web that talks about cryptocurrency. I know stories of people who bought thousands of bitcoins for a few cents and forgot about them, or died without leaving passwords." On the 15th of April 2019, we got together for the first time in an encrypted chat room created just for us. Alex, a cybersecurity specialist. Mephisto, master of persuasion. Kronos, the genius of code. Ramon, the shadow of the Darknet. "Gentlemen," I wrote, "we have the skills, the contacts, and the motivation. Now we need a goal. Not just any rich wallet. We're going after a certain type of prey. Those who deserve to lose their money." "And I have the perfect first target," Ramon added. "A person who bought 8,000 bitcoins for $100 in 2011. That's a fortune now. And according to my sources, he's not the most honest person in the world." That was the moment our hunt was born. We called ourselves Phantoms, the ghosts of the digital world, and our first operation began. Digital treasure hunts require patience. 20 years in cybersecurity taught me that. Successful attacks take months to plan, not hours. In May 2019, we began gathering information on our first target. Spider provided us with a name, an early Bitcoin investor who bought 8K BTC in 2011 for $100. At the current exchange rate, that's over $280 million. I'll refer to him as Keith from here on out. How did you find out about him? I asked Ramon during an encrypted video call. There are legends on the Darknet about the early whale, he replied, sipping coffee in his flat. In 2011, this type bragged on a Bitcoin talk forum about his purchase, then disappeared for years. He returned in 2017 during the boom, started transferring small amounts to exchanges. Cronus instantly found the posts in the archive. Keith used the same nickname. That's already a mistake. For the next fortnight, we spent the next 2 weeks exploring the digital trail. Keith wasn't just an early investor. He was one of the creators of the infamous CryptoFlex exchange, which closed without warning in 2017, taking deposits from thousands of customers. This is what I was looking for, I told the team on the 1st of June 2019. Not just a rich man, a fraudster who ruined the lives of others. We devised a 3-part plan: reconnaissance, infiltration, in simple words, penetration, and extraction, that is, attack. The reconnaissance phase began on the 5th of June. Mephisto took it upon himself to gather information about our victim's personal life. He lives in Austin, Texas, Mephisto reported a week later. Bought a $12 million mansion in the Westlake neighborhood. 45 years old, divorced, 2 children from different marriages, obsessive-compulsive disorder judging by his daily routine. Mephisto was a master. He called the ex-wife of the so-called whale, posing as a journalist writing an article about successful crypto investors. In 15 minutes of conversation, he learned more than we could figure out in a month of digital intelligence. Our whale never remembers passwords, Mephisto said, reading out his notes. Stores them in an encrypted file. The file is protected by a phrase related to his childhood in Portland. Kronos, meanwhile, studied the transactions. His main wallet hasn't been touched since 2013, he reported on the 20th of June. But there's a chain of small transactions leading to the whale. He's using multi-signature. You need 3 keys to access it. Spider delved into the Darknet, gathering rumors about the security methods whale used. He's paranoid, Spider said during our video conference on the 25th of June. 1 key is on an encrypted flash drive he carries with him. A second is on his home computer. The third is rumored to be in a safe deposit box in Switzerland. I was coordinating from my Nora in Daly City. The walls were covered with charts, graphs, and photographs. By July 2019, we knew almost everything about the victim: his daily routine, his habits, his weaknesses, his defense system. But we needed a way to penetrate his digital fortress. On the 10th of July, Mephisto offered a solution. Our victim is looking for a new system administrator for his home office. He's posting the position through an exclusive agency. I can convince them that I have the perfect candidate. That candidate became me. Mephisto created a new identity for me. David Chen, an IT security specialist with an impressive CV. Spider secured fake references from well-known technology companies. Kronos hacked into the agency's database to get my candidacy into their system. On the 1st of August 2019, I had my first interview via video link. On the 5th of August, the second, with the victim himself. Mr. Chen, your CV is impressive, the whale said, studying me through the screen. But I need someone who understands the importance of security at a deep level. I responded exactly as I needed to. Security is not a technology, it's a way of thinking. A paranoid person sleeps most soundly. He smiled. On the 10th of August, I was offered a job. Meanwhile, Kronos had developed a special program to recover private keys. He called it Siren. It could search through billions of possible combinations, using contextual information to narrow down the search. If we gain access to his computer and flash drive, Kronos explained, Serena can recover the full key in 24 to 72 hours. On the 15th of August 2019, I moved to Austin. rented a flat close to our Wales home, bought the right clothes, explored the local area, became part of the landscape. On the 20th of August, I started work as a system administrator, gained access to his home network, saw his defenses from the inside. Mephisto worked on the social side. He called the Whale Bank in Zurich, pretending to be him, gathering information on safe deposit box access procedures. Spider created anonymous wallets and withdrawal routes through a chain of mixers and exchangers. By the 1st of September 2019, everything was ready to go. We planned to act the weekend the Whale left for its monthly holiday in Hawaii. 3 days to go, I wrote to the team in our encrypted chat on the 2nd of September. None of us knew that the next day an event would occur that would completely change our plan and jeopardize the entire operation. On September 3rd, 2019, everything almost came crashing down. My new employer, whom we refer to simply as Keith, unexpectedly canceled his trip to Hawaii. "David, you need to update your security immediately," he told me at 7:30 a.m., when I had yet to get my coffee. "There was an attack on a well-known stock exchange. I want to make sure my assets are safe." Keith was paranoid, like most cryptocurrency whales. I knew this from our intelligence, but now I was seeing it up close. He changed passwords every fortnight, used 3-factor authentication, and never kept all accesses in one place. I immediately informed the team through our secure channel. The plan is on hold. The bird has stayed in the nest. Spider, our Darknet expert, was the first to respond. "It could be an opportunity. Stress makes people careless." He was right. The panic over the stock exchange hack meant Keith would be checking his assets, and that meant using the keys. That night, we held an emergency meeting. "We need to adapt," I said. Mephisto, our master social engineer, suggested a new approach. "Have him give us the keys himself. I can convince him that his Swiss bank has been compromised." Kronos, our code genius, shook his head. "Too risky. I suggest another. I'll modify Siren. If he enters even one of the keys on the computer the Phantom has access to, we can capture a partial fingerprint and reconstruct the rest." Spider nodded. "That could work, but we need to act fast." For the next 48 hours, Kronos worked non-stop, creating what he called Chimera, a modified version of the key trace capture software. On the 5th of September, I installed Chimera on Keith's home server under the guise of a security update. "It's the latest monitoring system," I explained to him. "It monitors any unauthorized access attempts in real time." Keith was impressed. He had no idea that I had just installed the most advanced keylogger software on his system. On the 7th of September, what we had hoped for happened. Keith decided to check his main wallet. I watched remotely as the Chimera quietly collected data. He used the first key stored on his computer, then plugged in a secure flash drive for the second. "We have partial prints of 2 keys," I informed the team. Kronos immediately set about analyzing it. "I'll need some time. The 3rd key is still a problem." Mephisto offered a solution. "I can convince him that for maximum security, he should check the 3rd key as well." On the 10th of September, Mephisto called Keith, identifying himself as a Swiss bank employee. In a flawless Swiss accent, he explained that the bank was conducting a safety audit of safe deposit boxes and advised customers to check the safety of their valuables. It worked. On the 12th of September, Keith informed me that he was flying to Zurich for 2 days. "David, keep an eye on the system," he said. "I'll be in touch." As soon as his plane took off, we started the final phase. Kronos had already recovered the structure of the first 2 keys and was working on an algorithm to predict the 3rd. "I need access to his main computer," Kronos said. "Not remotely, physically." That night I entered Keith's house using my official access keys, connected a special device directly to his home server. Kronos worked through it, accessing encrypted data. By dawn on the 13th of September, he sent a message. "I have everything I need. Come back." For the next 36 hours, Kronos stayed awake, working to reconstruct the complete key structure. The Spider prepared a route for withdrawing funds, a complex chain of anonymous wallets, mixers, and exchangers. On the 14th of September at 1945 Austin time, Kronos wrote a single word into our chat room. "Done." We gathered in an encrypted video conference. On the screen, Kronos showed the recovered keys. "We have access to the wallet," he said. 8,026 bitcoins. At the exchange rate at the time, about $83 million. We fell silent, realizing the magnitude of the moment. "Let's proceed with the extraction," I finally said. The process of transferring the funds was going to take several hours. We couldn't withdraw all at once. That would create too big a wave on the blockchain and attract attention. The spider created 20 intermediate wallets. Transfers went in small batches, no more than 50 bitcoins at a time. Each transfer went through a mixer, then split into even smaller amounts, went through another mixer, and only then was sent to the final wallets controlled by each of us. By 4 a.m. on the 15th of September, the operation was complete. The funds were extracted and the traces were confused. Keith had 26 bitcoins left in his wallet, enough that he didn't immediately notice the loss, but only discovered it the next time he checked. 2,000 bitcoins each, I said. As agreed. For me, this wasn't just loot, it was retribution. For Jack, for thousands of other people whose lives had been ruined by cryptocurrency scammers like so-called Keith. "What now?" Mephisto asked. "We disappear," I replied. "I'm quitting today for family reasons. Keith will be back in a week and find us missing. We should be off the radar by then." We all knew the risks. For that amount of money, Keith would have the FBI and private investigators on his ear. He'd be looking for us for years. Our last conversation was brief. We deleted all communication channels, erased all traces of our cooperation. We each went our separate ways with digital riches and a promise never to contact each other again. I thought that was the end of the story, but it was just beginning.